All right, today we're diving deep into the central philosophical idea from Chronicles of Inferno, something called the Pyramid of the Demiurge. And let me tell you, it's a reveal that just completely flips the entire nature of reality in that universe on its head.
And it all starts with this one line. This idea completely reframes everything. What it's telling us is that the suffering, the power grabs, the entire hellscape, none of it is random. It is a perfectly designed system, a trap with an inescapable, perfect logic. And understanding that geometry, well, that's the key to everything.
So, to really get a grip on this pyramid, we have to start with the guy who first laid eyes on it, Duke Abbasalam. His story is basically the lens through which we get to see this whole philosophy unfold.
I want you to just imagine this for a second. You're at the absolute top of your game. Absalom isn't just some run-of-the-mill demon. He's a conqueror of galaxies, a being of almost unimaginable power, who has clawed his way to the very, very top. He thinks he's won. And it's right there, at that moment of ultimate victory, that his entire worldview is about to come crashing down. And what is it that shatters his reality? It's a vision of the true shape of his world. Now, this is the most important thing to get. This pyramid isn't just some clever metaphor for a social ladder. No, in the world of Inferno, this is the literal, metaphysical structure of existence. It's the actual blueprint of reality itself. And all over its surface, millions of beings are playing a very, very deadly game.
And every single one of these climbers lives by the same code. To get closer to God, you have to go up. You have to consume your rivals, use their bones as stepping stones, and absorb their power to fuel your own climb. The higher you get, the closer you are to winning. But this entire belief system, it's a lie. It is the great foundational lie of their whole existence.
So, if that's the lie, what's the truth? Well, the truth is hidden in a single, terrifying little architectural detail of the pyramid, a detail that changes the meaning of absolutely everything.
It's called the ontological gap. And ontology, right, that's just a fancy word for the study of being itself. So this is quite literally a gap in being. It's a separation so total, so fundamental, that it makes the entire struggle, the entire climb, completely and utterly pointless. Just look at how this trap is built. Way, way up at the top, you've got the summit. That's where the creator is, the source of all meaning. Down below, on this massive base, you have all the climbers clawing at each other. But, and this is everything, the summit isn't actually connected to the base. It floats. It's totally separate. There's no bridge, no staircase, nothing connecting the two.
And that one detail just lays bare the horrifying truth, doesn't it? It means that no matter how high you climb on the base, you can never reach the summit. All of that conquering, all that suffering and striving, it's just movement inside a sealed box. You can become the king of the climbers, sure, but you're still just the king of a cage.
So this structure, this trap, it basically forces a choice on every single person inside it. It presents two completely different purposes for your existence, two paths you can take.
Okay, so on one side, you've got the parasitic model. This is the path of the climbers. The goal is simple: get higher by consuming others in a brutal, zero-sum game. But your real identity in this model? You're just fodder. You're fuel for the machine. Then, on the other side, there's the creative model. Here, the goal is totally different. It's not about climbing inside the system. It's about transcending it completely. The action isn't consuming, it's creating, generating new meaning, new value. And your identity shifts from being fodder to being a co-creator.
And the source material is just, it's so brutal in how it describes the climbers. They really believe they're the heirs to all that divine power they see at the summit, but they're not. They are, as it says, just food. They are biomass whose only job is to process time into suffering. So how do you get out? How do you cross that unbridgeable gap? The secret is, you don't. You don't climb at all. The only way to escape is to fundamentally change what you are. To transform yourself from something that takes into something that makes. To become your own source of light, independent of the one floating up top.
And this is where it all circles back to Duke Abbasalam and the profound, tragic irony of his entire life.
You have to remember, when he was just a kid, a helpless orphan staring up at this brutal system, he made a vow. He absolutely refused to be a victim. He basically yelled his will out into the cosmos. I will be a duke in your hell. And the universe, which seems to respond to that kind of raw power and will, gave him exactly what he asked for.
He did it. He achieved everything he ever wanted. He became the ultimate predator, the most powerful duke in the hierarchy.
But his final, horrifying enlightenment was that moment he saw the pyramid and understood his throne was sitting on top of the highest pile of bones inside a prison. He had become the king of parasites, trapped in a cage forged by his own ambition.
Avessalom's story just forces us to ask this massive question, doesn't it? If the endless pursuit of power, of climbing over other people, is just a beautifully designed trap, then what on earth is true freedom?
And the philosophy here offers a really clear, if difficult, answer. True freedom has nothing to do with having power over others. It's about generating your own power, your own meaning. Freedom begins the exact moment you stop being a consumer and start being a creator. And in the end, this whole massive, complex, cosmic structure, it all boils down to a very simple, very personal choice that faces every single being in that universe. And maybe it's a question we can ask ourselves too. In the grand scheme of things, what is your function? Are you here to be fuel for the system, or are you here to be a fire of your own? Food or creator?